Welcome to another episode of Raising the Bar, TKJE podcast. Today we have CEO Isaac Crow of So Be It Fashion Company. Isaac is a lifelong learner, entrepreneur, and fashion designer. He embarked on his entrepreneurial journey during his childhood in Las Vegas, Nevada, washing windows, cars, and selling candy in school. He dropped out of high school and joined the Army in 2008. He took a keen interest in community development and pursued studies in that field and dedicated 4 years to working with nonprofit CDFI DreamSpring, where he played a crucial role in funding small businesses. His current passion lies in the world of fashion, where he serves as the CEO of the minimalist fashion company, So Be It, which he founded in 2021. In addition to his business acumen, he possesses a remarkable talent for building business brands. Outside of his professional life, he is a devoted father to a 1.5-year-old and shares his life with a wonderful wife. Raising the Bar, TKJE. Let's go. All right, welcome back to another episode of Raising the Bar, TKJE podcast. I'm so excited today, y'all. I met this young man a few months back, and we've grown to develop a relationship. He is smart, educated, and I just love his enthusiasm on what he's been able to accomplish and where he's going. We have today with us Isaac Crow, the owner of So Be It clothing line. Isaac, how are you today?
I'm doing great, Ken. How about yourself?
Man, I'm doing fantastic. I tell everybody, every day is a good day for me, right side of the dirt, just choices after that.
Yeah.
Man,
that's the right perspective to have, my man.
I appreciate you. Well, I appreciate you taking the time being here with us. And man, let's just jump right into it, man, because I want everybody to know your story and how it all started. So jumping into it, when we spoke, there are a few things you mentioned. Now, what inspired you to start your business? But when we spoke before, you mentioned something about a minimalist fashion, and I didn't understand that. Can you explain, what that means, and how you got started and what inspired you to start your business?
Absolutely. So minimalist fashion, I define it as not a lot of accessories, not a lot of bold designs on each garment. So not a bunch of logos and symbols. Like in the streetwear culture, we So Be It is minimalist streetwear. So in the streetwear culture, it's known for a lot of like big, logos that take up a lot of space, a lot of really flashy colors. And with minimalist streetwear, we tone it down. We tone down on the colors, and we tone down on the excessive graphic. So what we make is sustainable clothing that's comfortable, that's quality, that's high quality, and that has like minimal design aspects. So like, for instance, we have a t-shirt that has an embroidered So Be It logo right in the middle. And then it has like, distressed hems, necks, the neck and sleeve to give it kind of like a rustic vintage look. So we focus more on the design of the garment than just kind of like screen printing stuff onto it.
Okay, I like that. So along the lines of it's not the brand that you're wearing so much, it's how you carry yourself, is what it sounds like to me, where wearing some of your garments, it's really the brand itself, but adding that brand is how you carry yourself when you're wearing your design. Something like that. Is that what you're saying?
Exactly. Because it's like sophistication, elegance. Basically, we want to give people something that they can just be themselves in, and they don't necessarily have to wear this, flashy design. However, each release, we do try to have like one statement piece that's kind of flashy. But for the most part, we want to make clothes for people's everyday occasions. So whether you're going to work, whether you're at school, going out for a drink, you can, because in today's society, like, you could do all those things in the same clothes,
Right. Yep.
So we're trying to meet that need here in 2023 and beyond. So what inspired me to start the business was I originally started with aprons, and I would make aprons, cut and sew them by myself. I would source the fabrics. I taught myself how to sew in 2020.
Wow.
And so that's where I started in the apparel industry. And then I realized that the apron company was taking a lot of my time because I was doing all of it. And it was all custom, and it wasn't very cost effective at all. or time effective or efficient. So I ended up just kind of letting that rest for a little bit and then kind of like taking a step back and trying to think like how I could maximize my time and energy and effort. And that's where So Be It was born, because I wanted to start an apparel company that made custom cut and sew goods, which is basically we design the pattern and we sized it and the cut and everything. So everything's that you get from So Be It is a cut and sewn garment. Wow. And I wanted to create a cut and sewn garment because that's what all the major apparel companies do, you know? LL Bean, Nike, like they all design their own stuff. They all cut and when they started, Nike started with another company, but when they started cutting sewing their garments, you know, and so that's how I wanted to do it. I wanted to set myself apart from all the other streetwear brands because there's many brands that are starting right now. Yep. And in the last 5 years, it's been crazy. So just trying to set ourselves apart from, you know, the other brands and really kind of create a lane for ourselves, because I think there's a big opportunity for people to do what I'm doing right now and compete with the major, you know, brands, because once you can connect with your audience and rely on your goods, you can, you know, carve a lane out for yourself, you know, and compete with these high-end brands.
Wow, that's really cool, man. I love it. So as far as the journey itself, right, we all got to learn some lessons, take some licks and hits and whatnot. So what are some of the most important lessons you've learned from some of your failures, some of the mistakes that you can share with our listeners?
Yeah, so I would say maybe the most important lesson is confidence. That's something I'm currently learning too. Confidence is a major thing. And basically, you know, when you have to step out and kind of you create something of your own, and you have to step out in faith and just, you know, with no one else believing in you, like that takes a certain amount of confidence to be able to do that. And I was working for a nonprofit for 4 years. And that final year, I wanted to step out on my own, but I didn't do it, you know, because I was comfortable. And I guess I didn't have the full confidence to do it at that point. And so just building that confidence got me to the point where I was just like, you know what? I'm just going to go out and see what happens and just try my hand, take a bet on myself and try my hand, you know? And then once I did that, I just had to have more and more confidence because there's more and more obstacles and difficulties and like you just got to do the stuff you haven't done before.
Yep.
You know? Yeah, no problem. You got to do the stuff you haven't done before. And so that, you know, pushes you out of your comfort zone.
Okay.
And so when you do new things and get pushed outside your comfort zone, it just makes you more, I guess, stronger in that area of confidence. Okay. So it's like, okay, I did this, I got over this, I could do this, you know, I could do the next thing. So I would say the biggest thing is just confidence.
Okay, cool. And you got to have it. So as far as some of the highlights, I know, right, with COVID and everything else, we've had to pivot, ups and downs of business. You got to make some adjustments. So can you highlight a time when you had to pivot your business model and how you executed the transition successfully?
Yeah. So we're actually pivoting right now.
Okay.
So I can talk about that real quick. Then I'll tell you about the last time. But we're pivoting right now because we started with just online direct-to-consumer marketing. And so we're looking at basically working with influencers. And so that's a lane that we're in right now. But we're noticing the drop on Instagram, on social media. From what I'm seeing, people are on social media less. So there's a movement around just kind of like the no social media, like limiting your social media, because people are realizing that it's having a negative effect on their mental, you know, their state, their emotional state. And so they try to cut back. And so that's going to affect businesses like ours, especially if you're small like us right now. And so what we're doing now is we're pivoting to like boutique shops, because in apparel, another thing is like people like to feel the garments. They like to try it on, you know, feel the drape. And that's how they, you know, basically pick out clothes, you know, especially from brands that they don't know. We noticed that when we did pop-up shops, we would sell more merchandise. And so now we're like, okay, we need to get our product in boutiques. So we're in the process of doing that. We're in 2 boutiques right now in town. And we're looking to just like expand on that and across the US as well.
Okay. I hadn't thought about that with the social media, but that's a solid point. So we have to make sure we pivot. I love it. Now, all of that and the decision making, it takes leadership abilities and qualities. What are the key leadership qualities that you believe contributed to your business success?
Just not being afraid to step out on my own and just be afraid to look stupid for a minute.
Right.
Because like I think a lot of times as putting yourself out there, it's just hard to do, and when you start something, you're never going to be as good as you want to be. You're always going to be the beginner,
Yeah.
And so just getting over that part, can help you just kind of like understand. So we can go back, but you see what I'm saying?
I do. So from a leadership standpoint, a lot of times as leaders, we tend to say, well, let's lead by example. So, what I'm hearing is that it's okay to step out because as a leader, the example is that I'm willing to be courageous. I'm willing to step out. And it doesn't matter how I look. I'm just making sure that I'm learning along the way. So true leadership. Yeah. I love it, man. So as far as up and coming.
And one more thing.
Go ahead.
One more thing. I would say not being afraid to look dumb, and then just consistency and perseverance.
Oh, okay.
Because I mean that's one thing or two things that actually determine whether you're going to be successful or not. If you show up all the time, every day, and if you have the fortitude to just persevere through not only the hard stuff and the challenges, but the stuff that you don't like to do in your business,
right?
Or find a way to like delegate it, But yeah. Those cool. Three things.
Okay. All right. So now along those points, it comes to advice, and you've got the entrepreneurs that are coming up, being a leader, they're going to be watching you. What advice do you have for aspiring entrepreneurs who are looking to turn their passion into a profitable venture? As everyone says, do what you're passionate at, but how can someone do that? And do you have advice for them?
Yeah. Well, if they want to turn their passion into a profitable venture, I would say find a way to monetize it. Obviously they're going to try to do that. So I'll just say, take the leap. A lot of times what holds us back is like ourselves and what we think we're not or we can't do that holds us back. So like, just take the leap. Don't be afraid to like it not working out, because you can always go back to whatever you were doing before, so just take the leap. And then know that, if you're trying to build something huge, it just depends on the size you're trying to build it. But if it's something huge, then it's going to take time, and don't let yourself get finessed by Instagram or any social media or any person makes you think that they're more successful, or even if they are more successful, it doesn't even matter. Just like run your own race and know that it's going to take time. It's not going to happen overnight. And some entrepreneurship stories, it's like, it happens overnight seemingly, but 90% of the time, it just takes time and effort and grit. And then lastly, it could be lonely at times, with just having to focus so much on this like thing that you want to build. So you kind of let relationships kind of fall off a little bit, which you have to, because it takes all the focus to build this. But like, understand, just kind of have that perspective that you can get back to like fostering your relationships, once you get to a certain point, and that's what my goal is. At the same time, so you got to take care of yourself and you got to connect with people.
That's true. And I totally hear you. I mean, true friends will be there for you, and they understand that, you're on the grind right now. You're out here trying to do it. So there should be some support there. And I totally hear you. And that's really cool. Now, a couple more questions. Just one key thing for our listeners. Can you give us one piece of business advice that has stuck with you your entire journey? That one thing that, that has just been with you, that you won't forget. It's been beneficial to you. You learned from it. What is that? What do you have for us when it comes to that one thing that stuck with you?
That's a great question, Ken. So two things came to mind. One thing is that it's a win-win-win. So, and when you go into business, like you want to go into business to give something to the other person to where they feel like they're winning, and then you want to win, right? The outcome is everyone wins. And so it's a win-win kind of like approach to business. And also like when you go into business, you go into service, So you're serving your employees, you're serving your customers, you're serving your partners, like you're serving everybody, yourself. Because when you're the leader, you have to demonstrate the qualities, or else, people are just you're the leader. So they're just going to follow your lead, and you're just going to have a shitty team. So you have to bring your best self.
Okay, I like it. I like it. Man, once again, I really appreciate you taking the time, answer some questions for us. I really believe that our listeners are going to get something out of it. Those that are in business and those that are just starting, you provided information for everyone involved. Now, when it comes to your company, how can people get a hold of you? How can they see some of your merchandise? Tell us about that.
Yeah, so you can actually, if you're in Albuquerque, you can actually fill our garments. We're in Rat House downtown. We've got a shop set up in the window section of Rat House, which is a vintage shop downtown. And so you can feel our quality of the goods and try them on. Also, you can go to sobeitwear.com. We're actually running a sale now where it's up to 50% off the entire site. So check that out. And also you can follow us on Instagram at sobeitwear, WEAR.
Okay, so sobeitwear.com.
Mm-hmm.
And
sobeitwear.com.
Okay, and sobeitwear on Instagram.
That's right. Yes, sir.
Okay, man, got a lot out of this one. Man, I really appreciate you again, yo. I want much success for you and to you, your company and your staff and the team that you're putting together. I can't wait to see where you go in the next few years, and just much love to you, man. Take care. God bless, and thank you for your time.
Thank you, Ken. I appreciate the interview, man, and I appreciate the well wishes. Likewise, man, I wish you much success in this podcast, dog, and anything you need, man, let me know.
Okay, thank you.
All right, boss. See you.
All right, bye.
TKJE